Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 at 5:55. Presented by Slapsticks Comedy Club. For ticket information, go to slapstickscomedy.com.
You can see me at 4 different shows at Slapsticks this weekend. Tomorrow night at 7 and 9 o'clock, or 9:15. And then that's both stand-up and then improv and stand-up on Saturday at 7 and 9:15. So come out and see me at Slapsticks Comedy Club, plus a host of other really, really funny people that are going to be there. We're going to have a good time. So slapstickscomedy.com for your tickets. And this is kind of kismet that we got Doug Gottlieb on to talk about this today, about ESPN. But these are top 5 things or questions that ESPN clearly to me has not asked, or they're not addressing in this whole, trying to corner the market on college football kind of a thing.
All right.
Number 5. What if this doesn't work like you want it to? What if it doesn't? What's plan B, ESPN? You've blown up college football. It's going to be really hard to put the genie back in the bottle. Like, what if it doesn't work? What is plan B? And I hope they do have a plan B, but it just seems so out of the blue, and that they've done all this that,
Wait a minute.
Or maybe this is plan B. Plan A already failed.
Well, one of the reasons we're in this situation the last couple of weeks with this audience explosion in college football interest of what might happen, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fantastic, exhilarating, horrible, is because maybe there was a conference that wasn't looking enough at what plan B or C or D is. So you can't, right now it all looks like everything. Greg Sankey's going to get he was going to get a raise anyway. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what if this blows up in their face? What then happens? I don't know if it will. I mean, money, right? That's a great question.
Yeah. Number 4, and Doug Gottlieb brought this up. What happens to your viewers in parts of the country you've left behind? That you said, we don't care about your TVs
Listen, in certain parts of the country, they really don't care.
But there are certain parts of the country that do.
No,
I think about I know this is going to be kind of a long-winded, I'm trying not to make it this way, comparison, but in the movie 42, Branch Rickey, played by Harrison Ford, convinced the other owners to desegregate baseball because everybody's money was green. And that's how he convinced them to do it, because he had a broader mission, but had to convince the owners to let down their prejudices to move on. I think about this, and the other thing is like, yeah, I know they don't care about that, or there's all this, but there are viewers, and their money's green too.
No,
I mean, like, why would you?
But they don't have their concern is not that they don't have green money; it's that they have stacks of Benjamins and thousands and millions, and if they did, then I don't think they would be left behind. And that is, with all due respect, one of the things that those being left behind or could be left behind are going to have to convince others. There needs to be another way, a distribution of streaming, of whatever else, to bring in money somehow. Yeah. And they may not be able to do that.
Number 3, if they are trying to do a super league, has anyone copying the NFL ever been successful?
Never.
So
even when they had a niche, or even when they had a little bit of the door open, the USFL screwed that up.
Yeah.
They had superstars. They went after big names, had them. They were locked in. They were playing pretty fun football. And they no. Yeah. XFL 2, 3, 4, 10, USFL, WFL, Spring League, no.
Yeah. No, it's never worked. So I don't know why trying to make college football more like the NFL you think is going to work for you. Number 2, where does it stop? Where's the end game? What's the end? Where does it stop? Because like if this, like, say Texas and Oklahoma isn't enough, what is enough? Because if Texas and Oklahoma isn't enough, I don't know what is.
Well, then it's Ohio State, Michigan,
yeah,
and then it's Clemson, and it's Penn State, and it's Florida State, and that's kind of what we could be headed to, is like a 32-team Blue Bloods, and some. See, here's my question: if they go to a 32-team Blue Bloods, they're going to have to leave some of them behind that are still Blue Bloods and have 75, 80, 90, 100,000 seat stadiums, great tradition, Heisman Trophy winners that still spend crap loads of money, that have some TV interest. But are you going to kick out Vanderbilt to bring in Nebraska? They're not going to do that. The SEC now. Is that something those schools eventually have to worry about?
I think that's why I say, where does it stop?
Yeah.
Where do they say, like, SEC, thank you? Like,
you've helped us. We've been loyal. We're at 16. We need to get to 32, but we've got about 12 or 14 others we need to bring to the table, and we're sorry about you.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is people were asking for expansion of the playoffs, and they just did that because people want to see more teams. We're sick of seeing the same teams over and over. This is going to be opposite.
Yeah,
yes.
It really is.
It's not hearing your viewers, which
no.
Armstrong. But if you're the SEC and you have these superpowers, Georgia, Florida, LSU, let's say Texas A&M, Texas and A&M, Oklahoma, I'm talking about those who have all the money, then you're going to get 5 of them in rather than just 1 or 2.
Yeah. All right.
If the SEC is getting 2 out of 4, they're going to get 5 or 6 of the 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I think they are. That's their ultimate goal.
Yeah. And the number one thing, does anyone really want this? Does anyone want realignment? Like, true college football fans, and I say this just because based on the wide swath of calls that we've gotten from all over the country, texts, chat, all these things that we've gotten from all over the country, I don't really feel like anybody wants this. Like, real college football fans, I don't see a groundswell of people going, it's about time. Thank God. I mean, most people are like, well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be cool to watch Oklahoma and Alabama play or, Texas and LSU, but nobody wants it, really. I mean, if you said, well, I mean, do you have to be in the conference? I'd be like, nah, not really. I mean, it's just like, so.
Right now, there's a high. Oklahoma and Texas are getting, right now, they're getting all this love from not only within themselves, which that they get that anyway. Now they're kind of like, man, we kind of separated from what we thought was maybe getting boring or whatever, even success or not. They're getting all this attention. Eventually that settles.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't know if, 1 out of every 20 text or responses from a Texas or even an Oklahoma fan, and all of them have been great and passionate. How many of them have actually said they don't like this idea? 1 out of 20 of each? Maybe?
Yeah. But, I mean, that's just those two fan bases. But, I mean, we've heard from other fan bases in the SEC, they're like, yeah, I'm fine with it, but,
the fan bases in the SEC were like, hey, we kind of like what we had. We're pretty
fine.
much.
And so,
yeah.
Again, like I asked, did ESPN say, do people want this? And maybe I'm more in the dark about college football fandom than I think I am. But I've covered this for a long time and been a fan my entire life. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that they really want all this. As a matter of fact, whenever you hear somebody talk about 4 16-team super conferences, most of the time it's not somebody's like, oh, man, that would be awesome. It's like, well, that's where it's going. We can't stop it. It's not really what we want, but
Yep.
I mean, it's doom. It's not what we want. So,
all right, good stuff, Paul. The top 5 put up again. It's a separate segment brought to you by
Slapstick
Comedy. Also, Craig's Off the Radar